Hi, I am Liz Powell. I am the founder of both G2G Consulting and Women's Health Advocates. And every month, the first Wednesday of the month at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time, we do a monthly call and we share updates on what's going on in Washington, what's going on with women's health advocates, and ways to be effective in shaping the process. We want to start today with the similar information, but then we're going to shift and do something a little bit different. It's August. It's a time where we want to take the chance to think about our stress management, rejuvenate, etc. So we're going to shift it to an expert. Dion Boyd is going to lead us through that process. So I will start off with some slides here. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, sorry. Thanks for your patience here. Okay. So women's health advocates, as I said. So this is what I'm going to cover. It's a great picture from our recent Capitol Hill Day on July 16th. Okay. So quick updates on what's going on. So reconciliation bill became law, the big, beautiful bill, as it's called. I already went over in detail in the last monthly call in July and talked a little bit about it in June. We have a great summary on our website for G2G Consulting if you want to read the details, but significant cuts to Medicaid, new work requirements that have to be documented, and then a new age cutoff. So you must have a child 13 or younger. If your child is 14, you don't qualify. So that is a first ever lowering of that age. Significant SNAP cuts. We've got like 40 states that now have this postpartum care for that first year after birth. And we're very worried that those will be cut back for states to save money. There's all kinds of changes that are going to go into place that total about $1 trillion worth. And they will start by the end of 2026, many of them, and then the last of them go into effect by the end of 2028. And we have the elections in the fall of 2026. So we have to do our part to educate on what has happened with this law and how it's going to impact access to healthcare with the millions who will lose healthcare, not just through Medicaid, but also through the Affordable Care Act, because they are letting that structure that enables enrollment to just crumble. They're making it more and more difficult. And simple things by requiring more documentation and proving that you're working or getting a degree or what have you makes it really hard for people to stay in the insurance plan. So that's why people are very concerned. And then finally, Title X funding is just decimated, which is really concerning because it's not just abortion care, it's all reproductive care. It is breast cancer screenings, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer screenings. It is way beyond that. So that's the quick summary, but the details are, like I said, it's on our website if you wanted to see that. The appropriations process is well underway. I actually recently posted on LinkedIn some wonderful language and funding lines that are included in the health funding measure that was just unveiled a week ago in the Senate. So the House has not done their bill. They're going to do it in September. So we're actually at a critical time where we could be saying to our House members of Congress, hey, this language is great in the Senate. We think you should include it in the House, for example. So we'll be doing lots of postings on social media. We're sending out mailings to folks on our mail list to make sure that you know key talking points for that and how you can use our online advocacy tool, which is just at our website, womenshealthadvocates.org. It's right there front and center. So we're trying to use this time between now and that first week of September after Labor Day to try and explain the importance of funding these women's health measures. So we'll be sharing details on that, but also you can just go to my LinkedIn. I posted it there with the summary. And finally, there's always great legislation on women's health. We're seeing more and more bills. We track this. I will give full credit to Griffin on our team. She tracks on a daily basis the bills that are coming out impacting women's health. And we've got an awesome Excel sheet. We're tracking all of it. You know, some of them are bipartisan, which is great. Some are not. And some are bills we don't like, but for the most part, we are seeing a lot of interest across the board. And there was a big Hill Day recently on fibroid tumors, for example, that Sateria, one of our members, was really, Sateria Venable, who runs Fibroids Foundation, was really active in leading Society for Women's Health Research, another leader on our team, very involved with that. So, so great things happening there. So that's just a quick rundown, quick update. We're now in recess. So people are back home, members are back home in their districts. So you can go to town halls, you can set up meetings in their district offices to try and connect with members and make sure that they know the importance of women's health. This is just a quick highlight of our recent July 16th Capitol Hill Day focused on the Breast Cancer Early Detection Coalition, which is a key part of our women's health advocates. So that was a really energizing day. And we're actually going to talk about it on our next call. So every second Wednesday of the month is a Breast Cancer Early Detection Coalition call at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And we're going to have some of our advocates share what it was like for them to be an advocate, some for the first time, some have done it before. And I think that'll be a really interesting discussion. So join us next Wednesday for that. Some upcoming events. We've got, as I said, the call next Wednesday. Then we've got Pittsburgh planning call on August 11th, and then Chicago planning call also on August 11th. And I'll put these links into the chat box in a minute here when I shift over to Dion. And then August 14th, we have our Boston planning call. So I'll make sure you guys have all those links. Don't even worry about writing that down. And then our upcoming events, we have a ton of events. Look at this. It's amazing because of all of you. This is all because of our volunteers, all of our amazing advocates. Pittsburgh is our first event. It's just be a casual happy hour, but it's a chance to get together on September 5th, right before the Women Who Rock concert, which we highlighted on our July 7th webinar. Focused on women's health research. And Women Who Rock concert is an annual event, and they raise money for McGee Women's Health Research. And all kinds of amazing research has been a result of this event. So it's a great galvanizing opportunity. And Melinda Calesi is the leader of the organization, and she is letting us have a table at the VIP section of this concert. And she put our little Women's Health Advocates postcard inside 350 VIP bags. So we're really going to be able to elevate what we're doing in Pittsburgh on that event on that day. So that is coming up on September 5th. So please join us. And again, we'll put links in the chat box in a minute here. The Bay Area, we are actually doing it in Los Gatos is our event. And that is a fancier event. It's going to be awesome. We've got a couple speakers confirmed. We're working to get one more speaker confirmed. but it's going to be amazing. It will only fit about 80 people though, so people need to start to RSVP and get their tickets. We are selling tickets for that one because of the cost of the event and also to hopefully support our efforts, our lobbying efforts. So we have two speakers confirmed. One is Sylvie Liatonen, and she is the founder of Equify Health. The other speaker is Kathleen Jordan, who is the Chief Medical Officer of MIDI. And we have some exciting prospects of that third speaker. So we will get back to you on that. But things are coming together nicely for that one. Kavita Buchnight has done an amazing job as our host. She's hosting in her home. And then Allison Lewin has done an amazing job managing our volunteers and all the logistics. So I wanted to do a shout out for them because they've done an awesome job there. We've got our online event. This is our first in our online congressional briefing series. It will be on menopause. And you can see the link there. We got amazing speakers. I want to keep moving quickly. Detroit, September 25th. Katie Kirsch, one of our steering committee members, is actually hosting that one. And she is really targeting investors and the investment community. And this is an exclusive event for our steering committee. So we'll be getting details out for that. Chicago is October 2nd. We're still finalizing speakers, but we're on the cusp of getting a very famous speaker. So we're excited about that. Sarah Austin has been amazing in leading that effort. New York City, we're planning a happy hour October 8th. And we're actually calling it the New York metropolitan area, sort of as a region. So we want to include New Jersey in that. Los Angeles, we're doing a happy hour on October 23rd. Boston, we are teaming up with ORIC to do a panel discussion and reception on November 4th, which will be around the conference, the WIS conference. Los Angeles, we're going to do a more official fancy luncheon with Muse Capital on November 12th. And then New Jersey will be part of that New York contingency group happy hour on the 13th. And Phoenix on the 20th. So lots going on. Advocacy actions, sending letters using our online tools, really helpful. We've got these breast cancer bills we were just lobbying on a couple weeks ago. Those are good to push. And then, as I said earlier, the funding levels in the appropriations bills, because remember, the Senate version has got good language, good funding. We want the House to have the similar or better. Going to town halls, as I mentioned, those are really good. Asking folks to get engaged on breast cancer bills, on appropriations funding levels. Social media is always good. We still want more people to join in our What's Your Why campaign. We've got a great link for that. You can just pop in your picture, put in your quote, and then post on social media. And then joining our steering committee. We always want people on our steering committee. And with that, I am so excited to turn it over to Dionne Boyd, who is one of our founding leaders of Women's Health Advocates, who is an expert in coaching executives, helping them be as successful as possible to help find balance in our lives, our busy lives. And she's just an amazing person to work with, a joy to work with. So with that, I would love to turn it over to you, Dionne.
That's great. Thanks so much, Liz. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is fun just to see my face on here, but I want to let you all know as I get started that I am absolutely from the call and response tradition. So I see that there's lots of activity in the chat. I will definitely need to hear from you in the chat as we go along. This next piece is very much an interactive session. As Liz said, my background is in coaching and my expertise is in the areas of people, culture, and organization effectiveness. And so very much want to interact with you all as we go. Now, thank you, Liz, for that intro and those kind words. So this topic is actually, so as my slides are coming up, I am a co-CEO. You may have seen my co-CEO join for a few seconds there. He's eagerly supporting me today. And I'm the Chief Wellness Officer at Oluma, which is a new evolution of work that my co-CEO and I have been doing for the last 5 years or more. And so really excited to be in this moment to share some of our thinking about stress management, rejuvenation, renewal, and also how we think about the life, the longevity, and the ability to thrive of organizations and leaders. So at Oluma, we are very much committed to creating organizations where everyone can thrive. And so that's where we enter this conversation. And the specific conversation of stress management, rejuvenation, and renewal, the topic of today's talk, a woman's guide to listening to your body and trusting yourself, is a very, very personal topic to me. It's actually one that I've tried to avoid talking about, but I'll tell you, I'm happy to tell you today how I got into this conversation and why it's so personal. So for me, it was 2018. I had just been told that I needed to have a myomectomy or fibroid removal surgery, and Liz just mentioned, lots of activity on that front. I had heard about it in the space, but I didn't know anything about it for myself, and I hoped I would avoid it. My doctors told me, you need to be out of the office for 6 weeks. And yeah, it's just what it is. They weren't surprised or at all fazed by the fact that I needed to have my abdomen cut open, I needed to be bedridden, and that they also told me because I had to have this surgery, I also would not, I wouldn't, if I were to have children, I would not be able to have a vaginal birth, that I would absolutely have to have a cesarean. And they said it with all casualty. Like it was very casual for them. For me, it was a big deal, but for them, it was very casual. Fine. So we go on, and after the surgery, the surgeon comes to me and he says, he looks distressed. He looks a little tired, and he says, did you not feel any extra pain? Did you feel anything? I said, well, maybe I felt some things, but you all told me I had to wait another 6 months, even after I got on the schedule to meet with you to actually have the surgery. So I thought, what else am I supposed to do? Just go along with my life, lead in my organization, lead in my family, and just take some Advil. So he looked at me like I was pretty crazy. And, this is actually what this whole talk is about and the inspiration for this talk, this listening to myself and trusting my own body. I didn't feel like I had the space to do that. I felt like the societal norms were, yep, you just go through this thing. This is just a thing that happens to women. And in particular, it's especially prevalent among Black women. And so I didn't think it was okay to be in pain. And I didn't feel that there was space in my life and in my work to actually feel the pain or to stop and be with the pain or to say, you know what? I know you all said it's another 6 months, and I know this seems really normal to you, but I need some more attention here. And so it's from there, from a personal experience, and also from the experience of watching others try to manage so many things in their lives and have experiences of burning out, have experiences of just getting totally frustrated by the attempt at balancing all that life demands, that I'm really here to talk about what it looks like to manage stress and focus on our own rejuvenation and our own renewal from an Ahuma perspective. So my intention for today is that you leave with, that you start to think differently about stress, that you get some ideas maybe for managing your own stress differently, and then maybe you even connect with others and you get to know what they're doing on this front as well, and that you know that you're not alone. That's why it feels important to tell my story now, because I don't want other people to feel like they're alone on the journey or they don't have space to trust themselves and listen to their bodies. So I am not a medical expert, but I am an expert in the area of people and culture and organization effectiveness. And so I'll be bringing that experience and that expertise. And as you know, I have this personal experience for now. So I invite you to come on this journey with me for the next maybe 12 minutes or so. I'll be asking you questions throughout and asking you to put your thoughts in the chat, as I mentioned. So let's jump. Let's jump in. And also, if you don't understand something, tell me in the chat, like, oh, Dion, say that again or say it differently. Help me understand. If you do understand, maybe give me some thumbs up in the chat, because I can't see you all, so I don't know if this is resonating or not. Okay, so that's that would be the request. Okay, now I can see the chat as well. Great. So thanks everybody. All right. So for me, as Liz and I had this conversation a while back, as she noted, I'm also a founding leader with Women's Health Advocates, and I'm honored to be a part of this journey. And so as I thought about what I wanted to talk about, this article was kind of the inspiration, because it's a tangible thing that affirms something that we've already been going through, right? So, or that we know intuitively. So self-silencing is making women sick. This article ultimately says that the very virtues our culture rewards in women, so things like agreeability, extreme selflessness, and suppression of anger, are actually likely the things that are predisposing us to chronic disease and illness. And so we'll share more, I think, on this. We'll share the link. Oh, thank you. Perfect. Okay. Yep. Great. So we'll share more of the links in the chat so you have the article for yourself. Also, some of my team members are here. So shout out to the Illuma team. Thank you for being here and for your support. And so it's this idea of not listening to ourselves in order to prioritize others' needs is arguably, and this article argues, and the data here argues, those are significant sources of health impairing roles women assume. So there's societal norms that reward us and encourage us not to listen to ourselves. And so you heard my example, and I see other folks, maybe others of you have struggled with that as well. And so that's why we want to have this conversation. So let's just hear from you. In what ways do you self-silence, or also known as not listen to yourself? So share some of those things in the chat. Take a moment to just reflect on it. Great. Yep. Thanks, Katie. And Kathy. Got it. Yep. Keep working without stopping, people pleasing, not speaking up. Thank you for saying that at work. The good girl syndrome, right? Not taking time. Can't be lazy. No time in the day. Yeah, we forget our doctor's appointments, right? We make everybody else's appointments, but then we forget ours. Or just don't quite get around to them. You know, I did the executive physical in Turkey because I was like, I know I'm terrible at this. Let me just do everything in one day. Delaying care. Yep, I saw that. I saw someone else. So, okay. Just keep working and not leaving any time for things that would help me. Thank you. Thank you all for what you shared here. Absolutely. And you kind of got into my follow-up question. So, but it's for your own reflection, you know, and what's the cost? What's the cost to you personally of self-silencing? Yeah, thanks. So. The fastest person. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. Okay. Mental health, absolutely feeling overwhelmed, delaying medical care and conditions getting worse. Yeah, yeah. Our mental health, our physical health, burnout, absolutely. You all have really hit all the nails on the head. And I hope this also helps you know that whatever you're going through, you're not the only one. I am being, you know, affirmed in this moment when I see other women kind of, yeah, dealing with the same set of things. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for being vulnerable in this way. You are not alone. Absolutely. And the point is to try to, yeah, get a handle on the cost, right? So this same article about self-silencing points to a number of the physical costs of self-silencing. So women account for almost 80% of autoimmune diseases. I think you all may have seen more on this lately because there's been a lot more conversation. But goodness gracious, it's outsized, an outsized impact on women. We're also at a higher risk of suffering from a bunch of chronic diseases. And I am not a medical professional, as I said, so I'm sure the others could speak to this in more detail, but really just feeling 2 times suffering at higher risk of all of chronic pain, insomnia, fibromyalgia, long COVID, all of these things, and also being 2 times as likely as men to die after a heart attack. So someone else is saying, yep, stop being a yes person. So you're all still answering this question about the impact. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it has a huge impact on us. And part of this exercise of even slowing down to think about it is what we offer as part of the solution. So also we experience depression and anxiety and PTSD at outsized 2 times the rate as men, and face 9 times higher prevalence of anorexia, the deadliest mental health disorder. So I'm not trying to make you sad, but I wanted us to be present to the cost of what self-silencing really ultimately is doing to us. All right, so we got that. So on the other side of things, so I told you that I'm an expert in the area of organizations and people and culture and the effectiveness of those organizations. We strive at Oluma to be the kind of place that creates organizations where everyone can thrive, or that we work with leaders and organizations so that everyone can thrive. And so on the organizational side, so those same folks that were not feeling well, all of us high achieving, high striving folks, now we come into organizations. When we get into organizations, we bring all those health things and those things we just talked about on the physical side and on the emotional side, and then we're in organizations. And there's a whole nother context and complexity there. So we're finding that the studies here find that stress and exhaustion lead to poor decision quality. After a while, you get decision fatigue. You just start doing what you've been doing. Your bias also comes in. You just cut corners. You say, I already know how to do this, but the decisions that we make actually suffer. And in the medical space, it's easier to quantify. More people get more antibiotics, for example, than need them. We exacerbate this what's it called? I forgot what it's called, but you're not able, your resistance, antibiotic resistance, right? And so burnout costs, we've heard a bunch about burnout. I mentioned I've experienced it myself, but it has a huge cost on the healthcare system in turnover, folks just leaving the space, and then folks that just can't come to work, so work hours lost. So 4.6 billion annually lost to burnout. And then there's this other phenomenon, which I think many of you have also spoke to, and I was trying to name, which is there's a space where we just, for exhaustion, for burnout, for feeling like there might be some repercussions, there's a miscommunication and speaking up failures, right? So people don't speak up. And sadly, this 2006 study, so it's a bit older, but it found that nearly 2,000 people have died and 1.7 billion in malpractice and hospital costs have been charged to miscommunications and not speaking up. So there's huge organizational costs. We just wanted to be super clear about that. And now let's just get on to this other piece, which is I think we'll start getting into what we want to do about it, just to be obvious that there is a cost. So now let's step to the question of self-silencing and our relationship with stress. So the part that we can control. So thanks for coming, everybody. Oh, it's 12:30. Okay, great. So I want to just quickly say that there's more here. I'm happy to share it. I appreciate what you all have shared. And the stress piece, yes, it's gaslighting. Yes, thank you. So now we know the nature of the problem. One of the main things to do here, and I'll jump to it, is to start to actually reframe it. So taking this time to know what do you think about stress? Reframe what you think and asking yourself what's happening here. And that's a bunch of what we did today. What is happening here? Connecting with the emotion on an emotional level. We also did that today. Actually taking time to ask yourself, assuming this is for my good, what is the stress here to teach me? So you can actually place your hands on your chest, on your own heart. So maybe just take a moment now and practice placing your own hands on your own heart, maybe giving yourself a little massage here and checking in. What does my heart need now? That's one way to address it, or just listening in for what you need. And then lastly, moving our bodies. Moving your body is a surefire way to move your stress. Shaking your body out, doing breath work, doing vocal exercises. My mom, she might even be on the call. She hums. I didn't know why she hummed, but she hums as a way to move her stress, I've learned since, and stretching. So yes, Rochelle says, give yourself some grace. Absolutely. Absolutely show yourself some grace. So thank you all. There are individual and organizational costs of self-silencing that we can change, first by naming them, reframing your stress, and then aligning this idea of head, heart, and hand to alleviate, to thrive, to alleviate stress and to thrive. So good to be with you all. If you want to connect, we'd love to connect via email so we can talk more about this. have more time, and then on LinkedIn. So great to be with you all. Hope you have a great day.
Wow, that was so great. Like nail on the head. Exactly what the fact that so many people submitted these comments and what they're feeling and thinking in response to your questions. It's like, wow, it almost is kind of sad how much it lit up because you're clearly touching on what we're all feeling. So, wow, very timely, Dion.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this was great. Okay, so Dion, is it okay for us to share your slides with everyone who dialed in after? Okay. So we'll make sure you guys get that because I think there were wonderful tips in there and just really good stats actually I'd love to use in our advocacy. So we'll make sure you all have that. We'll send you the slides and this is recorded. So if you wanted to watch it again, you can. So with that, I think we're going to close up our monthly call and switch over to steering committee for our steering committee folks. So we look forward to seeing you in a second here. And if anyone wants to join the steering committee, you are more than welcome. Just go to womenshealthadvocates.org. Thank you so much. Have a great August. Enjoy these final weeks of summer. Thank you so much. Bye.